Okay, great. We're going to be talking about using guitar rig specifically for film scoring in this case. What we're trying to avoid is having to bring all these amplifiers and all this stuff to the studio. So instead of that, we will need the plugin Guitar Rig on your computer. I'm going to be using one of my guitars, the 335. Try to get a guitar an electric guitar that is a quiet, that is not going to be adding noise to the signal, and you're going to be going through a volume pedal from the guitar to the volume pedal into, in this case, I'm going to be using one of mine, Universal Audio preamp. Try to go through a preamp and then from there into your DAW. In this case, we're using Digital Performer. My first consideration will be making sure that everything is set up correctly in terms of the sample rate and the frame rate. In this particular project, we're going to be using the escape scene from Astronaut's Wife, scored by George S. Clinton. Open an instance of Contact and go to your Contact Factory library and just open like a clean jazz guitar. In that way, you'll be able also to use some of the same effects that you're using for the real guitar on a keyboard in case you're not a guitar player. So all these steps that I'm showing you, you can use either for your electric guitar, or you can use it for a keyboard. You can use it for an electric violin, will be great, or cello, or for vocal, any other instruments that you want to use. And then you're gonna go into your DAW and open effects. Go to Guitar Rig. In this case is 5. I like to use the mono to stereo Guitar Rig. A 5, a mono to stereo. That should open like this. And I'm actually going to open 2 separate electric guitars, maybe even more. On the first one, actually, I'm going to use as a basic sound, I'm going to go to presets. So basically, Guitar Rig has all these amazing effects, but also has these presets that come from factory, and then you can actually tweak and change, and you can save, create your own number and save. So as you can see, there's hundreds of different sounds. So I'm going to open one of the presets, 329 Pulsar Alpha. I'm not saying you do the same. You're welcome to just explore and use one of these presets as a template. Then you'll be able to change any kind of parameters you want to change, and you'll be able to save it under a different name. On the other guitar, I'm going to also use Guitar Rig 5. I'll do the same thing. I'm going to go to a Guitar Rig 5 mono to stereo, hit select. And in this particular case, I'm going to show you now how to use the different components. For this particular project, I'm going to be concentrating on a few things. I'm going to be concentrating on reverb, and I will encourage you to try the different reverbs. I personally going to use the studio reverb, right? I'm also going to concentrate on the use of delays. And once again, I would recommend you just play around with this stuff. It's a lot of fun, but don't waste all your time just playing around with it. You can open, in this case, the quad delay, which all these effects have really cool features. You can sync it to tempo, change the parameters, save them, whole thing. So I'm going to use just reverb, delay, distortion. This particular case, I'll use a screamer distortion. And then I'll just use, maybe later I'll add some equalization or something else, but definitely want to do some, start with some modulation. In this particular case, I'll do a flanger and a tremolo. And once again, the tremolo shows me that I can sync it to tempo. Later on, I'll decide if I want to do any kind of special pitch changes or harmonic synthesizer, octave. Okay, we're going to go now into building some tracks. Okay, great. So I'll be recording everything I'm doing. As I mentioned to you before, I'm going to start working on some kind of clean sound. First of all, make sure you can use the tuner or any kind of tuner. Get your guitars in tune. And also make sure that you know the tempo of the piece that you're going to be recording. Especially if you're going to be using delays like this quad delay that syncs to the tempo. So the first thing I'm going to work on is on my delay sound. I'm going to sync it, tempo sync, and I'm going to turn it on, and let's see how it sounds. Okay, another thing I'm going to say in terms of the music, in this type of style of writing, I would completely avoid playing like major or minor triads in close positions. I would never do something like, or, like a full sounding chord. I think it's so much better to open it up, for example, or even better if you concentrate on playing fours or octaves or fifths, something like this. Okay, so that is just the guitar with the delay. I'm going to add a little reverb, and I'm going to make that a little more wet than usual. Right? And once again, don't play more than 2 or 3 voices. To that, I'm actually going to add some chorus, and I also like to sync that and make it really open, like a stereo. I'm going to add some parametric equalizer, basically just bringing up the high. And then with the use of the volume pedal, it could be something like this. This next sound I'm going to be using is this already existing preset. Let's see how that sounds on its own. Another idea here is maybe I could use the same sound to create some kind of like minimalist type of thing. Let's see what happens if I clean it up. I get rid of the distortion, right? I'm gonna get rid of the distortion, and I'm gonna go into like a cleaner sound. Let's hear what that type of stuff can do. Now, I'm not gonna be writing the score for you. You know, these are just some ideas, and some ideas that you can use. Make sure that you go to your preset on Guitar Rig, and then once you're happy with your preset, you go ahead, save as, save it, and this way you will be able to recall these sounds in any other format, and you'll be able to use it again. And then if you tweak it or make any changes, then you can call it version 1, version 2, etc., etc. The next thing also, I want to make sure that you guys have both an audio version of the clean guitar, which will sound like this. You'll have the bounced in stereo, actually, with the effect. And then you also have saved your preset. Great, so now we're in Pro Tools, and as we showed before, we have the clean guitar, and we have the guitar with the effect. Clean guitar and the guitar with the effect. Make sure also that tempos, the tempo is the same tempo that you use, in this case 145 beats per minute, or that you exported the tempo map from your sequencer. So now I'm going to go to the the actual mixing board mode. I'll go into effects, and I'll choose the same one, Guitar Rig5 mono to stereo. You should open like that, and then if I go to presets, it should have the preset that I have previously created, right? So in that way, I have exactly now the same sound that I had for my clean guitar before. So let's play it and make sure that that's working properly. So now the tempo map is very important because, as we know, all these delays are going to be working uh, with the click track, with the click and metronome mark. Now, you also have the other guitar with the effect, just in case you need it. And this is going to be the format you will use to mix your project. Another thing I will highly recommend is Google this guy, George Deering. You have heard him in thousands of hundreds of movies. He's all over the map. I'm also going to include a video of him in action. So George Deering. I personally have used this technique a lot in my scoring, in my scores. Especially, I'm going to include also some tracks from the Last Mountain. You can listen to this on iTunes. I mean, I use it all the time, but this is one that I can be very specific about doing everything on the computer using exactly the techniques that I showed you, and playing my guitar through guitar rig, and adding, of course, other instruments, live and electronic. So enjoy it, and write some good music.